I saw Phil did a video on his channel. It was a premiere style video and it was talking about Cardi B and it had the words Vegas in it. And I started to look at it and when I just looked at it based on the title, I said, so they're continuing to reward her even though she said what she said last month, and they're just going to gloss over it as if it never happened. Now, I purposely found this picture of Cardi B in front of the Palms Hotel in Vegas because according to what I have now discovered, Cardi B is in a lineup of other people in the hip hop genre who is going to start hosting residencies in Vegas. Now, residencies are usually reserved for people who have had years in the music industry and they perform a set of shows a few months out of the year for audiences to come and see them at this one central location without them having to travel. It's like having a tour without actually going from place to place. I know that Boyz II Men has one, Britney Spears has one, Celine Dion, Mariah Carey. I think J-Lo is about to get one. And also Janet Jackson, I think this year is about to get one. And, so on and so forth. But now they are doing something different where they want to have hip hop residencies. But instead of reaching out to people who have had years in the industry, they want to get people who are considered and deemed fresh. And Cardi B is one of those people that they selected. I mean, you didn't want to reach out to Missy. You didn't want to reach out to, if you want to talk about female hip hop, people, you don't want to reach out to Missy. You didn't want to reach out to Trina, Lil Kim. I'm sure they can find a hole in their schedule and they could do one. It's not like some of those artists have performed in Vegas before and are deserving of a residency. But you gave one to Cardi B and a few others. But I really want to focus more so on Cardi B for obvious reasons. This woman said 3 years ago on an Instagram live that got exposed last month that she used to work as a prostitute and she would drug and rob her Johns. And then sometimes she would engage with them in a threesome unknowingly to them because she drugged them with a transsexual, which means another man who pretended and masqueraded to be a woman. And she's still continuing to get rewarded for her behavior. She just got nominated for a rack of Billboard awards. Now, if a guy had said any of the stuff that she said in that in that video, they would have snatched everything away from him, especially if it was a black man. And they know it. They are continuing to reward bad behavior. And I'm willing to bet it's people who are congratulating her on getting this residency right now. And people keep saying, well, the men need to come forward. If it's true, then what she said, well, guess what? She didn't exactly deny anything she said in that video. She never came out and said, oh, it was taken out of context. She never even apologized for what she said. That's how you know what she said was true. She didn't backpedal or nothing. She had plenty of opportunity to say, oh, this was taken out of context. I was overly emotional. I didn't know what I was saying. I was a little intoxicated. She didn't say any of that. She didn't even come out and defend herself against that, which means and leads me to believe that she meant what she said. And she did what she said in that video. This is why I told people one time in a video that we live in a gynocracy. And I had some people give me some pushback about that. This is a perfect example of what I mean when I say we live in a gynocracy. Another perfect example is last year when you had all those white women calling the cops on black people, specifically black men in most cases, and not one thing happened to them. Granted, yes, they were white women, but the fact of the matter is, if this was probably a black woman calling them, they probably wouldn't have taken it seriously. How many calls did those white women make to the police last year over some nonsense? And it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't just black men. They were calling on black kids, boys and girls. They were calling on black women of all ages for the most ridiculous of shit. And not one thing happened to them. They didn't have any kind of charges brought up against them for making false police calls. Not a one that I can remember. That's why I said we are living in a gynocracy at this moment, and some people still aren't willing to accept that. This right here with Cardi B is a perfect example of that. She can go online and admit to the world what she did, and not one thing happened to her, but they'll keep rewarding her with giving her nominations at awards and for awards and giving her residency now. Like, I don't know how much more clear it can possibly be. And the thing is, she'll still have fans. Unfortunately, there'll be a lot of black women who will still be fans of her. Now, what if I was to sit up here and tell y'all, to the black women who are fans of hers, that she's going to try to replace you? After all, Offset says she paved the way for all these female rappers. That's what her husband said. And some, I'm sure, will probably agree with that too. And when I say some agreed, I'm not talking about the women of this generation. I'm talking about the ones who are within my generation and beyond. But at this point, it doesn't seem like Cardi B is going anywhere anytime soon. And that's mainly because she's hot and she's trendy and fresh right now. But when they get tired of her, and they will get tired, they'll find a way to do away with her. And then they'll usher in somebody else, and they'll do away with them. Then they'll bring someone else in and do away with them. It's an endless cycle. An endless spin cycle. They never really keep anyone really out there for too long. They keep them around for as much as they possibly can, make some money off of them, get some buzz, and then they'll, toss them away. And I have a feeling Cardi B is going to be no different. And on top of that, on top of rewards, Cardi B is about to also be in a new movie. Oh yes, I don't know if y'all knew that. Cardi B is about to be in a new movie with J-Lo. And guess what the movie is about? Hustling strippers. I said she's basically playing herself. But y'all let me know what you think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.